Alright, for number 2 on the worksheet, it asks us to find the LCD for each pair of fractions. And so just like in the last video, we can go ahead and go through this process that's outlined on the worksheet. Okay, now for 2a, we actually essentially did this same problem. Our denominators are 18 and 12. And here, really just for emphasis, if you're working with just numerical fractions, and the numbers are reasonably small, you don't have to go through this process. You can just think mentally, what's the smallest number that both 18 and 12 divide into evenly? And that, of course, is just 36. So that's really all you have to do. You don't have to go through the whole factorization and determine if things have common factors or not. That's really useful when you get into these things involving variable terms. Okay, so on that note, let's go ahead and look at b. We have ab squared and a squared b for our denominators. So as we were saying in the last video, just first lay out your factors, ignoring exponents for the moment. So I have an a and a b. And now for the a, that shows up as an a squared there. So I'm going to need an a squared for the LCD. And then for the b, that shows up as a square here in the first fraction, so I'm going to need a b squared for the LCD, and that's it. All right, for c, well, we have an x plus 1 and then an x plus 1 squared. So the distinct factors here are x plus 1, and then since it shows up as a square in the second denominator, we need a square for the LCD. For d, I have x minus 2 and x plus 3 for the two denominators, and there's no common factor. So we said if they don't share any factors, the LCD then is just simply the product of the two denominators. So just be that. And then for e, this one's a little bit more involved. Okay, this is what it means by when it says step 1, completely factor each denominator. So notice all of these back here were already factored out. I can go ahead and factor out this first denominator by just taking an x out, and that'd be x times x minus 4. For this second denominator, I can also factor that as a product of binomials. So I'm going to need what? For 12, I could do 1 and 12, 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. And for a middle term of negative 1, 3 and 4 sound promising. To build a middle term of negative 1, I would want the 4x to be negative and the 3x to be positive. Okay, so now to build our LCD, I just lay out the distinct factors. So I'm going to need an x. I'm going to need an x plus a 3. And I'm going to need an x minus a 4. And notice here, since everything is just to the first power across the board, the exponents for the LCD will also all be 1. Okay, that's going to do it for this question. Thanks.